Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, General Law 30A and 20, and the Governor's March 15, 2020 order imposing strict limitation on the number of people that may gather in one place, this meeting of the Dalton Select Board will be conducted via remote participation. For this meeting, members of the public who wish to watch in the open session portion of the meeting may do so by viewing on Dalton Community Table Channel 1301 or via the Zoom link that was posted on our website. No in-person attendance or members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the open session portion of the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event that we are unable to do so, despite the best efforts, we will post on the town's website an audio or video recording, transcript, or other comprehensive record of proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting. All right, I'd like to call this meeting to order, please. All those who are able to rise for the pledge. John Boyle, will you please lead us in the pledge, please?
Sure. Thank you, Bob. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, with indivisible and justice for all.
Thank you. Brittany, will you do the roll call, please?
Yes, we have Chair Robert Bishop.
Here.
John Boyle.
Here.
Joe Diver.
Here.
Mark Strout.
Here.
Dan Esco.
Here.
And our interim town manager, Sandra Albino.
Here.
Okay, next is the minutes. Brittany sent out the minutes. Did everybody have a chance to look at them, or should we postpone to next meeting?
Mr. Chairman, we had two sets of minutes that were sent.
Yes.
10:26 and 11:29. I'm sorry, 11:09. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Are we ready to move on them?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to accept the minutes as presented for October 26, 2020.
Second.
Second? Okay, John, did you second that?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, a motion's been made and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Okay, roll call vote. John?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
And Joe?
Yes.
And Bob, yes. Now we have November 9th.
Mr. Chairman, just a note on November 9th, we have two sets that appears in Brittany's email.
Yep.
And so I'm going to make a motion to accept. I'm sorry, that second one's executive. My bad. Sorry. Yeah, I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of November 9th, 2020 as presented.
Second.
Okay, a motion's been made and seconded. Is there any further corrections or concerns?
Bob,
Yes.
let me just say one thing. And I seem to have misplaced these somewhere, but I did read them. And I thought there was a section in there that pertained to us suggesting a salary range for the prospective new town manager.
It should have been, John.
Yeah, but I may have read it wrong, and I read it 2 days ago, but it doesn't say what was suggested, a range from 100 to 125. It just mentions a
Okay,
figure
we
of
can
100.
amend that. We'll just amend it and have Brittany put it in there, okay?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
suggested a range.
You did in during 11:23. That range appears to what you believe it is now, to 125, the higher number. But in that beginning meeting in 11:09, you were still thinking about it. But then in 11:23, it comes up as
Okay, so it's in
what
the
it
next
is
one.
today.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And just
That
a
makes
comment, John. I think we had that conversation. Oh no, you're right, John. We had an open session. I thought we were having a.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Thank you,
good?
Brittany.
Okay. Is there any other corrections or concerns? Okay, roll call vote. Mark?
I'll abstain, I wasn't there.
Okay. Joe?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
And Bob, yes. Okay. I gotta take these stupid things off. Okay, this is the time the public to address the board on any item listed on the meeting agenda or any issue or matter of the town. If you intend on addressing the board at this time, we ask you to do the following. Use the Zoom link or dial 684-6111, extension 28. Please identify yourself by name, address, or the company/institution you represent. The public address to the board segment will last no longer than 30 minutes. Please make your comments concise and try not to repeat statements made by others. Please address your comments to the board chair. Discussion or debate on any issue may not take place at this time. The chair or the designee may answer questions on procedural matters. Please be cordial and respectful of others. If anyone wishes to be recognized when the board discusses an agenda item, please make the request at this time. The board chair may grant this request, address comments to the board chair, and be concise. Now, is there anybody out there who would like to speak to any items on the agenda?
Mr. Chair, this is Joe Fish.
Okay, yep, I got you, Joe.
Yes, 80 Daily, and I'm here for number 9, and many of the board members of the Green Dome Committee is also here. Most likely one of the, if they during the question and answer period for number 9.
Okay,
Also, I just want to say those individuals, fine individuals on Saturday did the Santa Claus run, loved it. That's why this town is so special, because of stuff like that. Right.
absolutely.
Hi, Bob. John Ruffley here. I'd like to speak on Agenda 9. I'm sorry, 127 Pleasant Street. I'd like to speak on number 9 as well.
Okay, John. Any other ones, John?
I believe I'm in for pedestrian flashers as well, right?
Okay, yeah. Anyone else? Dan, you're muted, buddy.
Bob.
Language.
Oh. You go first, Dan.
You want number 10, Dan?
I don't want to be available for 7, 9, 10, and 11, if there's any questions.
Okay, Dan, 7, 9, 10, and 11.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hey Bob, it's Becky.
Hi, Becky.
Hi. I'd like to speak on 9 and 10, if that's possible as well.
Okay, anyone else?
Hi,
Richard?
Bob. Can I be for number 7 and number 9?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Jenny? Jenny, you're muted. You're muted, Jenny. I can't hear her.
Well, and wait until she unmutes, Bob, can you just put me down for number 9?
Yep.
Cheryl?
You're well, Cheryl.
Sorry about that, Bob. Didn't realize I was muted. Jenny Gitlitz, Pomeroy Ave. Put me down for number 9, please.
Okay,
Thank you.
you got it.
Bob?
Yes, oh, hi, Wendy.
Hi, Wendy Brown, East Street, can you put me down for number 9?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay. Are we all set? Okay, first thing on the agenda, appointment for Council on Aging. We have an appointment. So I hereby recommend for your ratification an appointment of Kathleen Stern of 7 Hemlock Hill as a member of Dalton Council of Aging. And it's closed as a recommendation for the Board of Directors on Aging. And that would be Kelly. Joe, would you make a motion on it?
Sure, Mr. Chairman. I move that we accept the ratification of the appointment for the Dalton Council Agent Board member Kathleen Sturm of 7 Hemlock Hill as a member of the Dalton Council on Aging Board.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, thanks, John. Okay, any further discussion? I'd just like to say thank her for stepping up, because this is nice. Kelly was pretty pleased with this, so.
And Kathleen is here this evening as well. So Kathleen, thank you so much.
Oh, she is. Okay, thank you.
No, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for your service.
Yes.
Happy to help.
Okay, roll call vote. John?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
And Bob, yes. Congratulations and thanks again.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too now.
Evening.
Okay. Border Health update. Is Jane on yet?
Jane had a meeting, so she may have to come in a little bit later, if that's okay.
Okay, we can just move off of that for now, and we'll come back to it when she comes on, okay?
Okay.
Okay, we'll move to number 8, the Police Department grant acceptance.
Go ahead and read the memo into record, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, go ahead, Joe.
Okay. We have a memorandum here from our town manager, Sandy Albano. The Dalton Police Department has been awarded $40,000 in state funding from the Executive Office of Public Safety and Security's Office of Grants and Research. This grant will be used to upgrade our current in-house interview equipment, and will also update and install new cameras throughout the police department and the town hall, both interior and exterior. Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept this resolution of this grant, accepting, let's see, whereas the Dalton Police Department has received a grant of $40,000 from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Executive Office of Public Safety and Security Office of Grants and Research for the purpose of Edward J. Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Program, otherwise known as JAG. The grant is to replace an outdated recording system throughout the police department and security cameras throughout the police department and town hall. Whereas the Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 44, Section 53A empowers the Select Board to approve the acceptance of grants or gifts of funds by any officer and department on behalf of the town. Now, therefore, it is resolved that the Select Board does hereby approve of $40,000 from the Edward J. Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Program. The Select Board does hereby commend the Dalton Police Department for its efforts in obtaining said grant. And the town manager is hereby authorized to execute a grant agreement on behalf of the town of Dalton. And a copy of this resolution shall be transmitted to the town of Dalton Police Department, town accountant, and town treasurer. I hereby move that we accept this grant.
Okay, is there a second? Okay, thanks. Okay, a motion's been made and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Okay, roll call vote. John?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
And Bob, yes. Everybody's picture keeps moving. I have to find you. Okay.
That's awesome. Nice grant. Congratulations to the police department and Andy for the excellent work.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, if I might?
Yes.
No, this chief. Hey, chief.
I just want to make a comment about that grant, if I could. While the Byrne grant is pretty much the Byrne grant is pretty much a guarantee, but it's very rare to get the max, and we got the maximum amount by putting together that the program, for the security system, and also the recording system in the interview room, both of which were extremely antiquated. And the grant application was written by Sergeant Furlong, and with the assistance of Becky Whitaker, who we can't really do anything in the police department without her help. So anyways, I just want to share that. It is, they were in the paper today, but I'll tell you, we were one of the few that received the maximum. So we're pretty proud of that. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You should be. Awesome, Chief. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Did we vote? I got lost the track of thought there.
We did. Yeah, Brittany, do you have that on the minutes for the vote?
We voted.
We do.
Okay. All right. We'll go right to the Dalton Green Committee update if you're ready.
Yes, I am.
Mr. Chairman, if I might say something in advance.
Yes, John, go ahead.
Regarding this issue that's going to be brought before the board tonight, obviously right now, we were promised a copy, a summation of the issue so we could study it. But we never received that, at least I never received it. I feel the board should have this in hand before it even considers any issues regarding the Green Committee.
I want you to know, Mr. Boyle, that that might have been my fault. I don't think I received that information to send a copy to anyone, and I do apologize for that. As you know, this is my first time addressing to the committee, and I do humbly apologize to the board.
Yeah, it would have been helpful to have that.
Yeah, it'd be real helpful.
What's the board's favor? Should we let it
Hey,
go?
I'm in favor about rescheduling this until the time we have the information in front of us. This is an important issue.
I don't even know what the matter to be presented is, in fact.
That's the whole point, Dan.
Is it just an update? I mean, if it's just an update, can't we listen?
Yeah, it's just an update. We request an update to educate the board on the activities of the Green Dalton Committee back in, even before the spring. So it's a general update of the last 5 years of activity of the Green Dalton Committee. I think they put together a good presentation. So it's just educational information, John. So,
okay.
Yeah, and then there is an ask, I think, in the presentation to work more collaboratively across the town. But I think with our town manager job description update, I think we addressed that pretty head on anyway. So I think we'll find the information pretty useful, especially members of our community. So I would suggest we move forward, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. All right. Let's hear it.
Joe, is there any? Can we get a copy of this afterwards so we can at least have it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Sure. I'll either Joe or myself or someone on the board will send everyone on the committee or anybody else that would want it. I'm quite sure the town manager and the town planner. I'd be more than willing to send it to everyone.
All right.
Okay.
That'd be good, Joe. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, John. All right. Go ahead, Joe. Anyone else before Joe starts? All right. Go ahead.
Am I going to have an opportunity to share or Sandy?
Yes. Hey, Joe Deaver, could you help me with this a little bit? I think I have to go to hover over Joe Fish and make the host.
Yep.
Okay. Just making sure.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're becoming a pro, Sandra.
I'm trying.
Yeah. Joe, you should be able to share your screen now.
Sandy? It's
Yes.
Becky. Jane is waiting to be let in.
Who
She
is?
texted me. Jane.
Okay.
And can you also press record at the bottom, please?
Sure. I don't see Jane. Usually they come up at the top. I will go down to here.
Oh, you know what? Joe Fish is the host now. Joe, can you let Jane in?
Okay. Hold on.
And press record, please.
Hold on.
You guys should know there's another way to let somebody else share their screen. You don't have to make them the host. That's not, you don't have to.
Oh, okay.
So why don't I redo that or not?
Do you want me to get back out?
Mr. Fish, if you go to participants, click on that.
At the bottom, and you just let more than one person share a screen, basically.
So are we good?
Go ahead, Joe.
All right. All right.
Is there a record on?
First of all, I'd like to say thank you to the Selectboard for allowing me to make this presentation today. This is concerning to the Green Dalton Community. And for today's presentation, I like to cover 3 areas, which is what is Green Dalton Committee? How does Green Dalton Committee benefit the town of Dalton? And how the Green Dalton Committee bring more value to the town. So let's review on the first one, which is what is the Green Dalton Committee? Approved by this select board in 2013 to help the town become a designated mass green community. And this allows the Dalton to apply for hundreds of thousands of dollars of grants, and which as you know really helps out the town in so many ways. The Green Dalton Committee works with the town departments to pursue goals to establish the Green Communities Act, which is reduce energy use and transition into renewable energy. It also over the years has additional sustainable goals, which is recycling, environmental conservation, clean air, and water. And our mission statement, which is the Green Dalton Committee's mission, is to identify and investigate and recommend the Select Board various initiatives which protects the community's natural resources, enhance environment, health, and sustainability in Dalton, which, as you know, is approved by this board. The members are not only myself, but Wendy Brown, Richard Hall, Jenny Gillitz, Cheryl Rose, and the vice chair of this board, Mr. Joe Diver. And with all of our backgrounds, as you can read on the screen, you know, Wendy has good background in this committee. From Richard, Jenny, Cheryl, we all have different sets of tool sets that can help this committee to bring forward. Now, the next section is the Mass Green Community Designation. They have 5 criteria. 1 is passing zone policies to ease the permit of renewable energy facilities, which the board has already ruled on this. Adopt expedited permits for renewable facilities in designated zones, which of course the board has also ruled on this. Place to cut municipal energies by 20% over 5 years. I think we already accomplished that, or if not, we're really close to it. And commit to purchase fuel efficient vehicles for the town. And of course, the past town manager has did that with the police force that we have. And this funding was secured through the DEP. And adopt stretch building codes to minimize energy use in the newly constructed buildings. Also with number 4, we also purchased charging stations for the senior center, which is very appreciative. The next one is, how does the Green Dalton Committee benefit the town? We have secured grant monetaries of over $500,000 to date, enable energy savings through lowered bills, plan, implement, and sustainable initiatives, providing education and outreach to town residents. Also, the Green Dalton Committee worked on the green community programs, working with the town manager and the town planner, drafted objectives for consultants, review and analyze priorities projects, investigate rebates and other saving opportunities, and draft RFPs when requested. Now, over the past 5 years, the financial impact that the committee has put together was over $800,000, as you can see within this chart, and which is, you know, it really helps out the town, and I'm really proud of that. And when everybody can come together, I'm quite sure we could solve problems, and that's what, you know, this committee is trying to do. In 2015, we acquired over $140,000 in different areas around town, and from the library, the senior center, the police station, the street lights, the cemetery. You know, we are trying to help out as much as possible wherever we can to help the town be more efficient. And in 2018, we did the streetlights with the LED conversions, which is over 200,000. And this year, with the help of our acting town manager and our planning town planner, and we're in the process of a $30,000 opportunity that we are trying to come together for the more LED lights in the senior center, and for our DPW garage and cemetery building. It just, every little thing helps, I think, for our town. Now, for additional funding we secured, as I spoke earlier about our former town manager, as $12,000 for the vehicles, over $100,000 for light initiatives, over $16,000, over $17,000 for an MAPC grants for streetlights. And of course, recently, in the past year, we've been working on the recycling grants, which is technical assistance, bylaw development, and the $20,000 for recycling regulation, education, and enforcement coordinator. And hopefully this individual will be online soon. So, as I've informed you before, the financial gains of $85,000 annually in energy savings in the last 3 years alone, which is total, again, over last 5 years, is over $800,000. And it costs the town $0. You know, we are.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, sir. Can you just pause for a minute? Jane is trying to get into the meet, and you have control. I'm sorry.
I thought I let her in. Try it again.
Go down to the participants tab. Sorry for the interruption, folks. And from there, you should be able to see up and above, and then just click admit.
She should be admitted. Try it again. She in? Jay?
No, thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
I'm almost done. I'm almost done, people. Anyways, the next one I'd like to talk about is civil initiatives and improving recycling. The draft passed 2 recycling regs for private haulers and residential commercial generators. We actually put together, or I should say other people on the board put together bundle pricing for recycling and garbage. So it's not separate, it's just one set price for each individual. And all waste generated must be separated refuge for the recycling, which is, I think, is going to be a good thing for the town and for the environment. I held multiple meetings at the transfer stations, visits with private haulers and redisposal changes, worked on regulation language with the town manager, the health agents and town councils, and the DEP. And as I said before, we secured 2 DEP grants, and one for an 80-hour technical assistance from DEP, and the other one is a $20,000 for education and reinforcement coordinator. The education and community outreach, which we try to accomplish, these are some of the things that we have in the past, is organized mass solar Connect program. We promoted mass savings for that program, for the energy savings for the town of Dalton residents. I drafted a commendable letter for the select board to submit state legislation and policy. We activated for opposition against the gas pipeline, which is going to be near our drinking water, which that's just, I think, personally is a bad idea. Organized community presentation on lawn pesticides use and alternatives, and I think that's also going to be a hot topic for this upcoming year as well, from other organizations. And advice the select board on energy procurements, assisting resolving the WEMCO financial error, which we talked about within the last 12 months. A lot of help from Richard Hall there. And secured kilowatt device, which, as you know, that's for measuring appliances energy use, and you can find this device at our town library, and any residents can check this out. And so, other thing, next slide, we're almost, like I said, to the end, is how can Green Dalton community bring more value to the town? the energy and the expertise of each members of the green community is not being fully utilized. There's opportunities, specific voluntary, that we missed over the past few years, communications between the town leaders, and mission relative issues that has come short, and also the Green Dome Committee efforts and energies has sometimes been stifled, and which I can understand in the past year with all the changes and nobody knows really what's going on. But however, we still want to be part of the team and to help out. To further talk about the missed opportunities, as it says, we couldn't submit grants in 2016, 17, and 19, and this is, I think, maybe has to do with maybe miscommunication or town manager failed to. I'm not really quite sure why, to be honest with you, but I'm just put it mostly. Let's put it on us, and so in the future we can move forward from this and hopefully help the town. And Green Dome Committee was not invited to preview the new waste management recycling contracts, despite multiple times that I know that some members of this board has made requests, and the town just rubber stamped the renewal, and the town manager with no bargaining power, the town residents with a steep price increase at the transfer station, and no room for innovative changes. And I think in the future, innovation is, we need to look into those possibilities. Not saying that we should move in those directions without clear review of it, but at least open the door for it. And also the green community from Dalton and other communities were not invited to participate in new high school design. The new high school has a gas boiler, whereas forward-thinking, people in renewable energies would ask for a more cleaner energy instead of using fossil fuel. But as I said, it's okay, because everything is in the past. I like to make a clean slate, and let's try to move forward. And some of the things that we can move forward that we would like to recommend is, of course, as Mr. Divers and has the board discussed from last month, moving forward, we like to have more direct contact with the town manager to communicate with Green Dalton's mission and relevant work and decision makings, such as town building, heating and cooling, electric, municipal aggregation, residence, electricity, solar, renewable energy, waste, recycle, compost, vehicle purchase, and hopefully, be electric vehicle, if not at least hybrid. Maybe office supplies. Maybe we can, think of some, better ways of better equipment or just all the way around, and other sustainable issues that we can maybe just, and all we ask is, to voice our opinion or our ideas of how to make the town better and more efficient. In summary, the Green Dome Committee over the past several years has a financial impact with grants and savings of over $800,000. The cost, we're volunteers. We volunteered to be here. And our mission and activities to improve the quality of life and environmental health. Members have significant issues and experience currently not leveraged by the town leadership. And this is why we asked, to have maybe myself, that I should like to report to the new town manager in the future, or maybe once a quarter give you an update of what the Green Committee is doing, and just a brief summary, shorter than this hopefully. But Mr. Chairman, one of the reasons why that I presented this to you, not only to give you this information from what the Green Committee's done in the past several years, but another thing is, the reason why I'm here is because last year you have expressed, and the whole board has expressed to have people come volunteer on these boards. And you did a call to action to this town. I accepted your invitation, and I'm not only on this board, but many other boards. And the reason why I'm on this board, the reason why all these other Green Dalton committee members are on this board is because we want to try to help the town the best way we can with what skill sets we have. And I just want to say thank you very much for this opportunity to just be helping out the town. And I'm quite sure if people are listening and watching this, or maybe in the recording later, our chairman, the select board members, they really care about this town, but they need help. The town people, who managers, and our fine town planner, and everybody else who works in town, they also, would like to have people on the board just to help out. So I just want to thank you, and I am going to give control back to.
Can you put the last slide on?
Oh.
Thank you.
And of course, the last slide is, let us work together. Basically, we want to work together and have a direct to the town. And as Mr. Diver says, that you've already passed a requirement that the town manager will have a direct access not only to this our board, but all the other boards and committees, and which I just think that's a really good thing. And I don't know what you want us to check in once a month or quarterly, but I'm really glad that we have open door access, or will have open door access to the town manager. Yeah. So at the end, like I said, I just want to say thank you. I'm going to give control back. The board, most of the board members here, or actually all the board members here, we're willing to answer any questions that you have. And I'm going to try to get back, but I don't know exactly how to do that, but I'm willing to.
Joe, if you go to participants.
Yes.
And then go over to the right. You should be able to make Sandra the host again, or I think she might be in the town of Dalton.
Sandra. Okay. I'll look for her.
Under the.
You should be able to just scroll.
You can also go to the 3 dots next to Sandra's name and make her the host again. That way too.
Yep.
Okay, let's do that way. And the 3 dots?
Yep.
Oh.
Hover on Sandra's page, or Town of Dalton. Hover on those 3 dots.
At the top.
No, where her picture is. Not your picture, her picture.
You know what? I'm just going to do this. Make close. Being easier. That's the only way I knew how to do that. Sandra, you have it?
Yeah, I do. Thank you.
And then Sandra, while you're in there, I see Becky Whitaker's in the.
I just let her in. Thank you, Joe.
Maybe Joe, stop sharing your screen so we can go back to regular view.
Oh. Okay.
No, you gotta go down to the bottom to the,
Mr. Chairman, it looks like Joe Fish is still sharing his screen.
Yeah, I'm trying to not do that. That doesn't seem to pop up. Okay, I'm gonna go out.
Are you left clicking on it? Are you left clicking on that? Okay.
There we go.
Okay, is there any?
I found the button.
The Green Committee.
What was the question, Bob? Sorry?
Question. I'm talking to Select Board. Anybody has any question? Anybody has any questions for the Green Committee?
I have a question.
Okay, Dan, go for it, buddy.
Well, thank you to all the members of the Green Committee for their volunteer time and expertise. Clearly, there's been a significant benefit to the town of Dalton as a result of their efforts. And thank you, Joe, for the presentation. I do have a question. What exactly are we voting on? I wasn't quite clear on what policy, so that was my main question. Thank you.
Yeah, I could probably clarify that. It's really not a policy question. It's more or less an ask to align more with the town manager, and we actually addressed that in the town manager job description back in November. So we're actually all set on that issue, I would suggest. So when the new town manager comes in, part of his or her job description is to really engage with committees moving forward, especially as it aligns with the master plan and opportunity to leverage grants, et cetera. I think that was the ask. But I'll also defer to members of the Green Committee.
I'd like to thank Richard for his help when Ken was tied up with the electrical stuff. Richard stepped big time. That was a big help. But I would also like to have a talk with somebody from the Green Committee about one of the slides I saw where we lost $500,000 because the town manager didn't do anything. I don't like the way that was worded, and I don't know if you don't have proof, that probably shouldn't be in there like that. If there was something wrong, I need to know, or the board needs to know, so we can fix it. Okay?
I can respond to that a little bit.
Go ahead, Cheryl.
Okay. So, I mean, obviously, some of you know I've been on this committee from the beginning. It's just been, I'd say in general, we want to showcase to you guys, what we want to do, what is possible through green communities, and that our intentions are good, and we feel that, we tried to put a little levity in there with the guy with this rope around him, but that we feel very much that we've been kind of shut out of processes that we could have been included and maybe brought value to the town. With respect to what was going on with the town manager, I would just say we felt a lot of times like that we didn't have communication coming back. We would always promptly provide information that we needed, but we didn't get the information back. We were not able to run with the ball and get certain things done that we might have gotten done. We actually brought our concerns to a previous chairman of the select board a couple of years ago, logging very specific things. We did this, then it was months and months till we got in. So we brought that all to the chairperson of the select board at the time. So I think we're kind of reflecting back on that we didn't get any response at that time. Obviously now we want to move forward. We're going to get a new town manager, and we want things to be different. We hope things will be different, and there are things we'd like to be involved in, and I think we'd like to look to have the select board view things a little differently and maybe be more of a partnership. I know we're constantly being put in our place that we're just advisory, but we feel like I don't know if that's supposed to be like, stay down, kind of, that's how it feels. Just telling you how it feels. So that's it. I think that we're here to just say we want to be more partners, and we want to be able to move forward. And there were years when we felt like we could have got stuff done, but it just, wasn't the priority of the town manager, and so those things didn't move forward.
Okay, now Jenny?
Just to clarify and add to what Cheryl said, to more directly answer your question, Bob, about the 500,000. In order to apply for a Green Communities grant from the Department of Environmental Protection from the state, you can't apply each year until you've spent the money that they have already.
That explains a lot. Okay, thank you.
Sure. Okay, I don't know if all the other committees members got that. Do you mind?
Okay, no, go ahead. You can elaborate on it.
So you can't, in the bar graph slide, Joe Fish didn't spend too much time on it, but as you may have seen, there was a year when we got 142,000, another year where we got 255,000, and then there were a couple of years where there were zeros. And the point behind those zeros is that because the town hadn't moved ahead with implementing the programs that the DEP had already agreed to fund, we couldn't apply for more funding. You can't apply for more funding until you've spent the money they've already given you. And it was the holdups that Cheryl was describing in terms of not moving forward that meant that there were a period of years, 3 years to be exact, that we couldn't apply for any funding at all. And $500,000 is a rough estimate of what monies could have been applied for and won based on the other years that we have won. So it's not a number that we pulled out of a hat. It's a number that's based on grants we applied for and won.
Well, I commend you for getting over $820,000 for the town as is, and it's really, you guys have a lot of talent on that committee, and hopefully we can work. I'd like to have a quarterly update or whatever the board's pleasure would be, but we need to have better communications, obviously. So once the new town manager gets seated and installed, I don't want to overwhelm them all at once and pour him or her, whoever comes in. We don't want to just overwhelm them.
Hey, Bob. Can I say one more thing? I just want to sort of double back a little. To be fair about the town manager, I just want to say that I realize there are a lot of things the town manager has to do that are required. And so I think a lot of what we're doing, I think that's another way to look at it, can be perceived as like extra. Like, these are things you don't really have to do. I mean, they're not required. You don't have to do them. And so they tend to get put on the back burner. And I guess we want to highlight the significance of what we can do, even though they're not 100% absolutely required.
Hey, Bob.
Who's talking?
Hey, Bob, Mark.
Okay, Mark.
I could back Jenny and Cheryl up on that, because I do recall those conversations that we had when we went through those couple of years where we failed to spend the money and we couldn't apply to grants. I'm not sure if it comes up to 500,000 or whatever we would have been awarded, but I will back them on that. I think the thing that people need to remember is we're all on the same page or same team here, and we need to work together. We need to respect each other and you know, try not to step on each other's toes and just work together for betterment of the town. And I think a lot of times people feel like their toes are getting stepped on both sides and throughout the town. We're here to work together. We're here to save the town money, and we're here to, you know, move the town forward in its green capacity.
Right. I invite you guys to work through the select board if you have problems with the town manager ahead of time, because especially with a new guy coming in, or a new person coming in, if they're tied up and stuff, we may find alternative routes so we can get this money spent, or get somebody else on it so they don't have to, because there's going to be a lot of things pressing when he comes in here. Him or her. I'm sorry, I keep saying him. But, go ahead, John.
Yeah, well, one of the reasons I suspected this was coming, I would have liked to see this in advance, because it would have given me the opportunity to craft an extensive response to the missed opportunity section. Now, in my mind, this is nothing but a cheap shot at Ken Waldo, who's obviously not here, and an opportunity for him to defend the charges by Miss Rose, Miss Gitlitz, and partially Mark. Mark, if you remember, this came up before the select board, and Ken Waldo had a perfect explanation for every part of his actions regarding missed opportunities. So it's somewhat unfair what this so-called Green Committee is attacking somebody who can't be here to defend themselves. Perhaps we can invite Mr. Waldo and go over this at a future meeting, but I doubt he would attend, and I wouldn't blame him. Now, another thing, if they're only advocating for a partnership, that isn't the way this government is structured. You can never accept it. That's the whole issue here, that you are an advisory committee. You advise the select board and you advise the town manager, and that's the extent of your authority. And I know it's difficult for you to accept, but you have to. That's the chain of command in this town, and I think Joe Fish, who is now the current chairman, will understand that. If you have an issue, you bring it to Joe, Joe brings it to the town manager. And I'm certain any new town manager will find the time to listen. Now, it's also the job of the town manager to listen to all committees equally of importance. The planning board, the zoning board of appeals, the conservation commission, and various other committees, search committees. So, you know, I think your presence here and making a demand that you be treated as an equal to the select board is nothing short of outrageous. Now,
well, I don't appreciate.
Well, wait a minute, Mark. I'm not done yet. When I get done, you can talk.
Volunteers for the town.
Hold on.
Oh, I'm not done yet. Oh, you're right.
Sure you're
I'm
not.
just getting to that point. We had 6 volunteers that the select board appointed to the Green Committee, and all 6 of them quit because of the attitude of leadership on the committee, the inability to have their positions heard by the chairman at the time. If you want me to name them all, I'd be more than happy to.
I don't think it's necessary, John.
Okay? Then we can, because I talked to all of them. Why'd you get off the Green Committee? Why'd you quit? And they told me why they quit. They couldn't deal with the chairman at the time. And so there's many reasons for this committee to be viewed as an advisory board to selectmen and not overextend their authority. And I hope we can proceed on that basis. And this thing about volunteers, we're all volunteers. We all volunteer our time, everybody in this town.
Give you the right to speak to people like that.
Why not? I know how they do.
All right, John, settle down.
All right.
Okay, Mark, you want to say something?
I'm done.
Okay. Joe?
Mr. Chairman? I'd like to just make a comment here that I joined the Green Committee as a select board representative, and I learned a lot about what this Green Committee has done over the years. Mr. Boyle is welcome to his opinion, but I think his tone to the committee is unbecoming of a board member. And we just lost our chairman because of lack of response from the town. So what the Green Committee is trying to do here, John, is not to say they're directly reporting or anything else like that. They're asking for improved coordination and collaboration.
No, that isn't what Miss Rose said. She said, why can't we be partners? That was the operative word.
Collaborators, partners, collaborators.
No, she said partners.
Okay,
It's collaboration, John. That's it. Your tone to this committee is absolutely unbecoming.
Okay, one at a time, please.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, this is
Go ahead,
Joe Fish again.
Joe Fish, go ahead.
Yes, and like I was trying to explain their presentation, let the past be the past. I really want that to happen because, as you know, I just became the chairman of the Green Committee. And I really want to move forward and work, try to help the town any way possible, and trying to, work with the town manager, town planner. I know Dan's on here; he's a good man. John's on here as well, and I just want to try to move forward. And whatever happened, that's what. And as part of communication, I will do my best to try to communicate, send emails, or other organizations that has information forwarded to the respective parties, and maybe help update the website with information, not actually go onto the website and update it, but just give them information of how to save cost or programs around around the Berkshires that may be interested for our town residents. But the oldest of communication, I agree with Mr. Boyle, it's on me. And it's on me to better communicate with the board and with the town people. And I'm going to try to improve on that. And if there's anywhere along the line that other members like to give me, advice, I'm really open to it. And hopefully, in the future, we can make a difference. Thank you.
Okay, thank
I
you.
just want to, Bob, can I please?
Go ahead, Cheryl.
Sorry, I have to hang up.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to point out, is anyone, we keeping track of time on this agenda item?
Yeah, we should wrap it up here in about
time because we do have a lot more business to attend to this evening. Thank you.
Thanks. I just wanted to have an opportunity to respond to John Boyle. John, I think you misunderstood what I meant by partnership. Not all partnerships are equal in power. I do respect the authority of the select board, and I don't, and I'd actually like to say that I think a lot of the onus of the communication is maybe more on the select board or the town manager. I think that's part of, we feel that we've been left out of conversations where we may have been of value, where we might have brought value to a conversation, but we weren't included. And I think that's part of what we were trying to say here. So I certainly do respect the authority of the select board, but I also feel that we like to be respected as well. And so I'd like to just, that's what I'd like to say. We'd also like to be respected.
There's nothing wrong with that.
And Mr. Chairman,
can I just say one thing? It'd be a very positive thing.
Okay, John.
In this presentation, right off the bat, the one thing I noticed, that the Green Committee is recommending a zoning change or change in the zoning bylaw as regards to energy-related issues. It's something I would definitely advocate for, and not only include energy-related issues and changes and updates in the zoning bylaw, but in my mind, the zoning bylaw is way out of date. It hasn't been substantially overhauled since 1950. It's just been inserted with little patches here and there. And there's one thing that this town needs in terms of economic development, energy advancement issues, housing, other issues. It's an overhaul and rewrite and update of the zoning bylaw. And I wholeheartedly agree with that portion. That was the most important thing you said, or Mr. Fish said, in his presentation tonight. I applaud that.
I really have to make a clarification, Bob. The 5 criteria, just to educate everybody, the 5 criteria for the Green Communities designation, we actually accomplished. Except for the 20% reduction over 5 years. Of course, we had to be, we had up to 5 years to do it, and we have accomplished that. So in the first year, we actually accomplished everything we could possibly already accomplish for a green community. And now with the street light implementation of the energy savings on the street lights, we have accomplished the 20% municipal energy use reduction. So we've actually satisfied the green communities designation. And I'm
but Cheryl, I was speaking about issues like placement of solar panels and things like that, and lot designations and distance regulations. It's always been an unclear issue at town meetings, and that's why I was advocating for a change in the zoning bylaw to clarify and update these type of issues.
Right. Well, I just want to say that the zoning requirement about renewable,
yep.
You guys already passed the policy back in 2013. So I'm telling you that exists.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to just support the Green Committee so then we can move on to this. I'd like to make a motion that we have at minimum twice a year updates, if not quarterly, in collaboration with the select person who is on that committee and the town manager, and so we can make sure we present the material in advance and have a good conversation, direct conversation along the way. Right. I do think, and so that'll be my motion. I do have some comments and discussion if there's a second.
So clarify your motion. You said either semi-annually or quarterly. Which is it?
Yeah, let's go quarterly for now, and then we can pull back along the way.
I'll second the motion.
Okay. Motion's been made and seconded. Is there any further discussion?
I just want to say that, oh, sorry, Dan. Go ahead, Dan. I'll defer to you.
I would just like to point out that I don't think anyone has done anything wrong or made any mistakes. We've all, I believe, worked in the best interest of town, and we've all put our volunteer efforts into this. I think we don't need to point fingers about the past.
Absolutely right.
At this point, it's not in good spirit of moving forward. So I just want to remind us all, we're all on the same team, as Mark said earlier, and we don't need to dig up the past and point fingers. Let's move forward together. That's
absolutely, Dan. Thank you.
Well said, Dan. And just to reiterate, the things I've learned as being a member of this committee, I've learned a lot from the members, and I want to thank you all for your great work and your collaboration. It's quite impressive what I've learned. So thank you all for doing what you do for the town of Dalton.
Yeah,
and with that, Mr. Chairman, we can more discussion or.
Okay, I'd like to echo Joe's comments for everybody on the committee, and if we could just focus our communications through the chair, and that way, if you don't get good results from the town manager, that's when you reach out to the select board, and we'll patch that up, okay? And thank you for your time.
Yeah. And with that, we need a vote, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Okay. All right. Now let's go up to item 7. The Board of Health.
Mr. Chairman, we need a vote on.
I'm sorry. I'm going out of. I'm moving too quick.
So the motion is to have a quarterly update from the Green Dalton Committee in collaboration with the select person that's on the committee and the chairman, and present the material in advance, and then have a conversation each quarter.
Okay. Okay.
I'm seeing John raise his hand to talk.
John, go ahead.
We're in the middle of a motion.
Wait.
We're in the middle of a motion and discussion. Let's wrap this one up.
Okay. Roll call vote.
He's had his hand up for a while, even before the motion.
Mr. Chairman, I will just add that there were two people I believe who wanted to speak. Maybe in fairness before we vote.
Okay, let's do it quickly. Who needed to talk? John Ruffley, go ahead. You're muted, John. John, you gotta unmute yourself.
Yeah, I'll let Becky go first if she's probably quick. If that's all right with you.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so I only got to look at the slides really quickly, but I did notice that there was a lot of things on there that weren't actually true. So I would definitely like a copy of the slides emailed to me, and I would like to actually put the real facts on there. I don't have any issue that we all need to communicate better. I think that is definitely something that everyone needs to work on, more correspondence. But with that being said, I actually don't agree with disparaging the town manager while he's not here either. And also, to be quite honest, I think maybe some of us should have been invited prior to the slideshow, because like I said, the numbers just aren't really factual. And as far as the 5 criteria in the beginning, the zoning thing is actually 43D, which is expedited permitting. And it said it was a select board approval, and it wasn't. So, I mean, there's a lot. And we did meet our 5-year energy criteria. We're actually at 23.8%, thanks to the streetlight conversion. And I mean, I have a lot of data and a lot of numbers that can back up, everything on those slides, all on my computer, because I'm actually the one that does all the reporting, and I'm the one that actually applies for the grant online. So I don't want any credit. I don't want any credit or anything like that for it, but I just want the numbers to reflect the truth.
Okay.
And I just don't see that.
All right.
On those slides.
You work with Joe on that, Joe Fish, and get that straightened out.
So I would really just like a copy of that slideshow emailed to me ASAP, please.
Okay.
And that's it.
Okay, John Ruffley, do you want to speak?
Yeah, I agree. Everybody, we need to communicate, but I feel that this committee is, after attending a few of their meetings, I feel that they're misrepresenting this board tonight. And I just have a quick 2 minutes. Just want to share a quick 2 minutes. I won't even do my whole presentation because everything ran a lot longer. If I could get a shared screen quick, I just want to play a couple clips from public meeting, just to show you what you're up against here and what this town's up against. And I came on here tonight as a resident of 127 Pleasant Street. I'm not here on behalf of a town employee. It's just what I think. If I could get 2 minutes on a shared screen, and I'll let you. I won't even finish my whole presentation.
I'm trying, John.
Can I ask? Well, I want to make sure Bob's all right with it first, Andy. I don't.
Okay.
But I don't want to get into he said, she said, this kind of thing.
No, it's factual. I mean, it's just I don't want to get into that either. I just.
I don't want to.
I hope we're going to get to respond if you're taking something out of context. That's all.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to say that there's a motion on the table that needs to be addressed. And then John.
So a member of the public can't speak?
No, if you have a complaint, I think you can lodge a complaint or anything else of that nature, but we have a motion.
I'm a member of the public, I'm asking to speak.
Let us do the vote, John, and then you can do your 2 minutes. Okay, roll call vote, Joe.
Yes.
Mark.
Yes.
John.
No.
Dan.
Yes.
Bob, yes. Okay, go ahead.
Where'd you go, John? Oh, there we are.
I'm here.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to caution. I think if we go down this road, I mean, it's, will there be an opportunity for more people to talk about what we're about to hear? I would say let's just direct everyone to, if we could share the audio recording to listen to after and draw our own conclusions, but I don't know.
What happened here?
I'll tell you what, John, why don't you send that to myself, and I'll view it, and I'll bring it to the board, okay? There's no sense of sharing it tonight, in the interest of time.
I'm curious if these are times when John came on to our meeting and didn't identify himself. I'm just curious. I don't mind anything that gets played, but, you know.
We gotta keep moving, so we've got an agenda to do here.
You ready to move on, Mr. Chairman, to the next agenda item?
Yes.
Okay.
My apologies, John. I will talk to you and I'll listen to you, okay?
We have Jane on for Board of Health update.
Okay, yep. Go ahead, Jane.
Do the vote.
Oh, thank you. No, we already did the vote.
We already did the vote.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's right. My mistake. I apologize.
That's all right, Dan. Okay. Jane, you are on.
So I emailed, so everything's been changing very quickly on the state level. We had done the policies this last time, and shortly after you approved the policies, the governor changed the quarantine requirements, and then the next week they changed the quarantine requirements again. And so Don and I had kind of been floundering, making sure that whatever we had as the town reflected the most recent requirements from the board, and including looking at what other towns had been doing. So I had emailed each one of the board members a pretty comprehensive policies and procedures, and that it was that I gave a training for all the department heads, kind of going over what the requirements are by the state. A couple things didn't make it in, and so I have since copy and pasted that portion of the previously approved document that you had approved into this one, and so it's basically just following the state law, except for the policies that you guys accepted last time, which were things like the vacation policy. And the one thing that currently is still missing from this document that you have, although I have it updated in mine, was a reference to the Family First Coronavirus Relief Act, which does expire at the end of this month, but in all likelihood will have a replacement, knock on wood, at the start of 2021. So I just wanted to, it's formatted a little bit different. It has some more information. It's almost kind of like a combination of the two documents that I had you look at last month. I don't want to take a lot of time necessarily, but I can show you the section that I added, if that did talk about the Family First Coronavirus Relief Act. But I just wanted the board to recognize the changes, and so that we can continue forward based on the most updated information.
Okay. Can you want Jane to share it with us, or? Yeah, you're muted, Jane.
Sandy, I hate to ask you this, but can you put me so I can share my screen?
And we kind of went through everything last time too, Jane. I think there's just some minor changes and edits, right? That you're.
Yep, this is just that one section, really.
Yeah.
You should be good.
Okay. All right, so now you guys are looking at my screen. The section that we added, really, so here we have like all of our monitoring for COVID symptoms, right? Scrolling down. return to work policy after having COVID-19 symptoms. So we would need to enter here the Family First Coronavirus Relief in accordance with so there's one spot that we would just mention Coronavirus Relief Act. This is the length of quarantine, how it's changed. And then this second part is what I wanted to show you. So this is for general employees, not first responders or even DPW workers during the time, like on a night like tonight, even someone who's under quarantine, if they're needed, can work. So it references the chart above, and then it talks about here due to a COVID-related reason will be eligible to use Family First Coronavirus Relief Act. So I didn't have time to insert that. Joe Diver was kind enough to mention that again, and so I think that that's the one area that could really be beefed up still. With this document, it talks about first responders. All of these things right here are things that you've already approved. And then it also just gives a lot more resources as far as like there's more and more places to get tested. And then the other changes is here is a COVID-19 symptoms log that people would be encouraged to fill out. And so that's kind of the long and the short of it. It's mostly just inserting language around the Family First Coronavirus Relief Act. So if you guys were going to vote on anything, I would ask that you just accept this document, which reflects really any current state laws, with the addition of wording that beefs up the Family First Coronavirus Relief Act or subsequent federal law.
Okay. Any questions for Jane?
Yeah, I have two. I guess one for the committee. Does everybody understand the FFCRA reg, what it means?
No.
Jane, can you give a high level of that, or?
I can give a high level. The days, I might need to lean on Sandy a little bit for the dates, but basically the CARES Act is part of the CARES Act, or Family First Coronavirus Relief Act, basically is a mechanism by which employees are entitled or can take sick time that's provided to them outside of what they normally have accrued. So even part-time employees are eligible to get reimbursed their rate of pay if they have COVID, right, and are under isolation, if they're under quarantine, or really even if they lose childcare because of a COVID-related reason. It hasn't been well advertised by the federal government, and so I think, and there is a time limit. Is it 30 days, Sandy? That's the maximum amount of days?
It's 80 hours.
80 hours.
80 hours. All different sections are 80 hours. There is a 10-week extension for a 10-week extension for 2/3 of your pay if you have a child that is got to be quarantined, or I think there's a school-related kind of thing.
Right. If they lose their ability to go to school or daycare, and you
Right.
have to stay home to provide for them.
Right. So that's a 10-week at 2/3 of your pay, I believe.
And then the other question I had, just for the committee and for Sandra, a lot of companies I see are having employees sign a acknowledgement of the policy. Are we taking any of that action, or are we just going to leave it to the department directors?
I would assume it'd be up to the select board if they wanted that to occur. I think copies of the policy will be provided to each. We do have a policy that is signed normally every year, once a year. They have to sign that they've gotten that policy. That we haven't discussed that, but might be a good idea, especially if it's around the pay, you know.
Yeah, and Jane, I'm just thinking about like the I'm not sure what best practice is, but I'm seeing a lot of companies go to that model of having employees sign acknowledgement of the policy because it has steps in there, especially if it's COVID symptom or asymptomatic or things of that nature. But I don't know how we manage that as a town historically, but I'm not sure if there's a need to do that. But what do you see as best practice in that?
Well, I do think that, especially once they receive the training, it might not be a bad idea. Like, once you've received the training, to have you acknowledge that you've been trained, that you agree that if you have symptoms, you'll notify the appropriate people, and that that you'll follow, follow the policy and the state law. I think that there's no harm in doing that, and it would really make sure. The hard part about it is maintaining people's privacy, and I think that there's some stigma around COVID. Well, the fact is COVID's all around us. There's really shouldn't be any stigma, and so I feel like as long as the town is handling it well, I think that it would be reasonable to ask the employees to just sign that they've received it. That's what we do for restaurants. We have a training that we have them go through if you are exhibiting any of these symptoms, and then we have them sign it at the bottom. So that would be a really easy thing to do. That's my opinion.
Okay. Anybody else on the board have an opinion one way or another?
Well, I think Mr. Chairman.
Dan was first, John. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Dan.
John addressed the chairman first. Go ahead, John.
Go ahead, John.
Just a general question, Jane. Is there any indication from the state level that this situation is getting worse? Okay, that's the answer to the question. Thank you.
Yes, we're in yellow, and actually we've gotten a little bit better this week than we were last week. But yes, Dalton, and I think through its proximity to Pittsfield, is having an issue right now, and also the information about from Berkshire Health Systems is coming through, and it's showing that the hospitalization rates are as high as they've been during the pandemic, and so we're at a really precarious time, and we're really basically paying for Thanksgiving, and we're nervous about Christmas, and we're worried about Hanukkah, and we're worried about New Year's. So this next little while, the next month or so, is going to be pivotal to how bad it gets in Berkshire County, and certainly Dalton is no exception to that.
Is Pittsfield the same color code as Dalton?
I believe Pittsfield might be red. There was a series of
that's worse, right?
That happened.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And and honestly, this can happen so quickly. I've gotten some calls today. I mean, we've been trying to beef up our communication with the businesses. I only have about 150 emails for businesses, and so working with to get that kind of filled out. But it's just, we're trying really hard to work with the businesses to help guide them when they do have a positive case. And I would say that most businesses will have a positive case before the vaccine really starts to have enough people to be effective. It's going to be a long winter if we keep hanging out with each other.
Jane, what are the numbers in Dalton?
Last I checked, I think, because I don't get updates anymore, so I just have to check the the state website also, and I think it was like close to 18 active cases, but again, because I don't get updates on that regularly anymore, I can certainly look while we're talking and give you the exact number. But we've had issues at churches. We've had exposures at industry, daycare, schools, nursing homes. Really, you name it. We've had exposures there, and so we just need, and the numbers and the way that people are getting it is people are getting it somewhere and then bringing it home to themselves. and spreading it throughout their family groups. And so that's, it's that intimate, unmasked settings where we're all together unmasked that it's really spreading. So I can find out exactly what the most recent numbers are, but
It's okay, you don't have to, you got enough to do.
yeah, if those were being pushed to me, I certainly would have them. I don't go every day and reach out and get them, which, but we have worked really hard with the school district. There's going to be a flu clinic for the school districts to help the school, the school kids comply with the governor's order. So the Alliance is doing a flu clinic for them. We anticipate that we might have as many as 400 or more kids that will come through that flu clinic. The other thing that we've been talking to the school district about is, really deciding whether or not testing, having some sort of a testing protocol prior to their return on the 19th of January, makes sense. So I would say that we're in meetings or in correspondence with the school district, I would say 4 or 5 times a week right now. So a lot of efforts being spent on that. Other things that are happening is we finally got approval and we'll be meeting with someone on Thursday. There's grad students public health grad students out of Boston, where I'm hoping that they'll help round out some of our ability to contact the businesses who really need a lot of support. So like the document that I sent you today will likely be modified into a format that can be used by any business, because a lot of the questions that I get are, could be addressed by this document. And, one of the things that as a town that I've really chosen to focus in on is really try to support and build that relationship with the businesses, because they just do not know.
I've heard nothing but good things with your relationship with the businesses, talking to some of the people there. So thank you.
I do take a bit of a, and I will continue to do this with the town and the town employees as well, as, I have had a lot of success with working together instead of having it be a dictatorial relationship. We can get to the point with businesses that, there's enforcement, but usually long before that, we're able to reach agreement. And so that's been my approach.
All right, thank you. Dan Esco, did you you wanted to make a comment? You all set?
All set. Thank you.
Mr. Bishop?
Yes, go ahead, Dan.
Just so you know, the positive cases in the last 14 days in Dalton are 25. It's slightly lower than the previous 14 days, which I believe was, I want to say it was 27. So our trending is lower. 25 is the break point. If it goes to 26, we turn to red in a community. So we are right on the budget line for them.
Wow. Thank you, Dan.
Mr. Chairman, with Jane's excellent presentation and discussion, I would like to make a motion that we have an acknowledgement form signed by our employees after their training of the policy.
I think that's a good idea, Joe, to be honest with you.
So Bob, this is Richard.
Go ahead,
Can
Richard.
I make one comment?
Sure.
I raised it last time, but seeing that document real quickly, Jane, can you just confirm that before someone comes back to work, they have to be cleared by the public health nurse?
Well, so it depends on what you're talking about. Are you talking about
If they have COVID?
if you had COVID? Yes, you would need to be released. So you would have to meet 3 criteria. One is that it's been at least 10 days since you had start of symptoms. The second thing that would need to happen is that you don't have a fever without the use of fever reducing medications. And the third thing would be that your symptoms had started getting better. So,
It's the public health nurse that releases you.
there should be a public health nurse that releases you. Now,
Thank you.
Now that's like the perfect world that would happen, and so, and hopefully we would be operating off of that. But yes, if you're not there, like if you're asymptomatic, there's another thing. There's another group that you have to do. If you are if you're under quarantine, now there's 3 options for you for quarantining. So, I'm taking the Maven training right now so that I can get in on Maven and check on things to reduce some of the load for releasing people from the public health nurse if that would be helpful to them. But it's hard with this surge for them to keep up. I think one day our nurse, Leslie Drager, said she had 47 cases, not all in Dalton, but 47 positives that came in from her towns. And so you can imagine, that takes time to get through.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, Joe, did you want to say something?
No,
There was
just,
a motion made. I'll second the motion.
Okay. A motion's been made and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Okay, roll call vote. John?
Yes.
Joe?
yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
And Bob, yes. Okay.
Before we move on, was there any action needed by this board regarding this sick leave policy and accepting that language, or are we good?
I think that, and I'm not looking at the specific document, I can, but I mean, most of the policy level decisions that you guys had to make were around things like recreational travel, right? And so this document is specific to this moment in time. And so I would say that while there's not really any need to take particular action on this particular thing, because it really was addressed last time, maybe a motion just allowing the document to change with the current state guidelines might be prudent, and then I would insert that language into the actual document so that if things changed, I didn't have to come back to you every time if the quarantine goes from 7 days to 8 days. I feel like it's not a good use of your guys' time, and maybe instead just referencing the governor's order of, as it changes.
It's a good point, Jane. I like that. Okay, could I have a motion, please?
And Mr. Chairman, I move that we authorize our Board of Health agent to update the policy as CDC guidelines and state guidelines change, and the policy can change with those guidelines.
Second.
Okay, thank you. Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Okay, roll call vote. Dan?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
And Bob, yes. Thank you, Jane.
Welcome. Thank you.
Okay, anything else on this while we've got you here?
Thank you, Jane.
Thank you. Okay, next on the agenda, number 10, Shared Street Grant Crosswalk Project Update. Who is going to speak on this?
You want me to go, Sandy, or what?
I'm assuming that you were going to be the one that spoke on that, yes.
Okay, go ahead, John.
Okay, where we're at with this is the advertisement for bids is going in the paper January 5th. That's tentative right now, the Central Register and Combis. And after that, if that successfully goes through the bid, we're looking at a bid opening for January 21st. And with a successful bid opening, we're looking at probably a 30-day turnaround for the contracts, administration, and everything to be signed. And then we're looking at construction sometime early spring.
Okay, this is for both locations, correct?
Correct, yep.
Okay, good. All right, thank you for doing that.
Mr. Chairman, can I have a quick question?
Sure, Joe. I'm John.
Yeah. John, when you say it's gone out to bid, is this the bid for actual construction of the project, or is this the bid for request for proposals for engineering.
Construction of project. The engineering's all set. We're good with that. This will be for construction.
Okay, thank you. Good work.
Thank you, Sandy and Becky and Dan and everybody that's been working on it.
Goodness, it's been a long haul, but it's crazy times.
It is, that's for sure.
Holy smoly. Okay. Is there anything else on this? Any other questions for John?
No questions, but at some point, I would love to maybe have a one-on-one with John and Dan, just to learn about the process that they go through, because I understand a lot of the details, but just understand those steps in greater understanding. And as we look at these projects, I think we as a board need to be able to have a communication channel that really provides these updates, because if we look back, Shared Streets was approved in July, permit in August, and we're going to be sending out bids in January. It is what it is, and I think to the tone of the Green Dalton Committee conversation, let's all move forward together at the end of the day, but just understand some of those details and how we communicate on these important projects, I think will be helpful as we move forward.
Okay, I know for a fact that everybody put in a lot of hours on this, and I greatly appreciate it. So, okay, then we move on to town manager's updates. Okay, Sandy, you're on.
Okay, the first thing I want to talk about is there is a part of the law that if you wanted to put some documents in with the real estate and tax bills, you had to get MGL Chapter 60, Section 3A, Paragraph D approved by the Selectboard. I did send you, although late, that document, and I don't know if you all received it or not. And if not, I will go ahead and read the request. I request your approval that the town be allowed to include in the envelope in which a property tax bill is sent non-political municipal informational material pursuant to the rules of MGL Chapter 60, Section 3A, Paragraph D, as noted below. The collector may, with the approval of the Board of Selectmen or Mayor, as the case may be, include in the envelope or electronic message in which a property tax bill is sent non-political municipal informational material, provided, however, that if such non-political municipal informational material is mailed, it shall not be included if the material causes an increase in the postage required to mail the tax bill. I'm requesting your approval for this so that we can put in the tax bills the public notice by Dynergy Energy Services, who are going to be part of our Community Choice Power Supply Program, where the town has agreed and entered into a 3-year rate, fixed rate for the Dalton's program. And this is letting the public notice go out to everyone that receives a tax bill. So we got that information a couple weeks ago. I think it sent it all out to you all. Richard Hall helped make the notice much more clearer and so that it wasn't so much detail. There was a big emblem in the middle of it, and he revised it for us, and I want to thank him for that. So this request for approval is so that this notice can go in those tax bills. And if you approve this section, any other time we need to use the tax bills, which hopefully we don't need to do it too often, put a notice for the public to have, this will already be on record as being approved.
Sandy, I like that idea a lot. And number one, it would save a separate mailing and everything like that. So, and it does get the word out there.
Yeah, and it's also going on the website. It's also a announcement in your agenda tonight. But I just thought it would be a good idea for it to get in the tax bills, since they were going out about the same time we got this.
Is there any other comments or questions for Sandy?
Yeah. Mr. Chairman, just a quick question to Sandy. Sandy, this tax bill is going to be mailed. This will be the third installment due February 1st?
Yes.
And the second part of that question, will this tax bill reflect the new evaluation based on the 2020 reassessment of property values in Dalton?
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, you all set, John?
Yep.
Anyone else? Okay, a motion to make this happen, please.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept our town manager's recommendation of including this notice with the tax bills.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, a motion's been made and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Okay, Mark?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Bob, yes. Thank you, Sandy.
You're welcome. I also wanted to report that together with Dan and myself, we have submitted reimbursement requests for approximately $76,000 for the CARES Act Coronavirus Relief Fund, and the costs that have been spent for that are costs that were not related to an exposure. So they were costs relating to PPEs, work that Jane and Dan and I have done, and Pat Pettit have done on managing and keeping together all the rules and regulations and figuring out how we can keep our costs separated. Dan has spent buku hours on this. I appreciate all of that. Pat has also spent hours on this, building all these PPEs that you see in the offices to keep our employees protected. And we also have submitted a FEMA grant reimbursement of around $9,000. Most of it is Board of Health labor related. The contract that we had with Jane in the beginning when she started, we're going to hopefully get reimbursed for that. So I just want to let you know that that's been finalized. The CARES Act has said that we will be reimbursed the whole $76,000. Haven't quite gotten that information from FEMA yet, so just wanted you to be aware of that.
That's great news. Thank you. Anything else, Sandy?
One other thing is Rebecca Slick had asked if we could update our town letterhead, and so she reached out to Mungie, who is our website master, I guess you could say, and that person has been working on updating our letterhead to sort of look like the website with the fonts and stuff like that. So I know that it's never been updated since I've been here, and she showed me a copy of it, and it looks pretty good. So I just wanted you to be aware that we will be using new letterhead in the future, in the near future.
Beautiful.
Very cool.
Okay, anything else?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay. Items for future agendas, anyone?
Yeah, I would like to just get an update on the town manager search next meeting. I'm not sure if we can touch upon it now with the town manager update or not, or if we need a future agenda item.
Sure, it's going to be the near future.
Thanks, Sandy. Anyone else?
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah, Dan, go ahead.
Yeah, just in light of Rebecca Slick's comments regarding the Green Committee slides, I am curious to hear more if there are any inaccuracies or corrections that she could provide that we put that on the next agenda. My aim is not to sow any division, but just to understand more fully what's going on.
Okay, that's fair. Thank you. John, did you gonna say
Yes,
something?
I did, Mr. Chairman. I would request that you ask Mr. Ruffley to return at our next meeting, either on the agenda or during the open meeting part of our agenda, and play his recordings of the Green Committee's deliberations. I have heard them. They're very troublesome. They have substantially castigated Mr. Ruffley and his professionalism, particularly as it regards to trees. Now, that issue shouldn't even be on the Green Committee's agenda, yet it is. And also it's been pointed out to me that other people have heard these deliberations, that there's clear violations of the open meeting law. So I think we should hear them and hear as many as we can.
Okay, I would also, I would like to have the members of the board get a copy of that before the meeting, if we could. And then I'll put it on the agenda.
What, a written copy or?
Oh, just if you can send it, if it's a vocalized, can't you send it the voice?
Well, I don't know. That's technologically advanced.
Yeah, I'd like to amend, if we're gonna do that, I recommend that you listen to the entire meeting in context and not just a snippet.
I agree.
Joe, I've listened to the whole meetings, an hour and a half of them.
I'm just saying for the rest of the board members, that's all.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, for that one.
I'll commit to listening to those, to that recording in full prior to next meeting in January.
Okay, why don't we do that? And then we'll get it just. Bob, you can send a link out to that? Somebody send us the link to that? That'd be good. I'd like to be able to find that. Okay, anything else for future agendas? Okay. Remarks of the select board. Anyone?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, go ahead, Dan.
I'm not sure the process to follow to get this done, but I'd like to discuss getting a stop sign placed at the corner of Central and Second. First, the corner of First and Central is a four-way stop sign, but there's no four-way stop sign one block down, and cars basically barely stop at the first one, and then they just fly all the way down to the park, about 40 miles an hour in a 25 zone. I don't know if everyone's aware, but a little girl was struck and killed at the intersection of First and Central in the 80s, and that was the reason for the four-way stop sign there. I just think it's a public safety issue.
I think there was a couple of them killed there, to be honest with you.
You know, I think little by little, we continue to try to make the town safer with improving our crosswalks at Route 8. I think this stop sign is an important thing as well. Thank you.
Dan, are you still on? Can you hear me, Dan? You're muted, Dan. Dan Filio? Okay.
Yes, I can hear you.
Is that something you can look into for us?
If the select board votes to have the traffic commission look into it, is usually what the procedure is. You know, the only other time is if we get a letter from the public, what we do is give that to the town manager and tell them if we're going to follow up. So if the select board wants to vote to have us look into that, we will.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I'll write a formal letter and have residents, neighboring residents sign it as well, and I'll send it to you and Sandra, and then it can be placed on the agenda next month.
Okay, and we'll vote on it. Okay.
Yeah. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to go back to future agendas real quick.
Yep.
I'd like to take time either at the next meeting or one after that to respond to Mr. Ruffley's email to the board. And I'm hoping that Sandra and John and I can resolve that issue before that time.
Well,
let's get formally on the meeting.
John, Joe, there's going to be an update on that. That's going to be handled by myself, and you and John will either Zoom together or have a three-way conference, okay?
Very good.
I told Sandy is just straight out, so I will handle that. John, go ahead. Unmute yourself.
Yeah, we could discuss that. Are we talking about the tree issue?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, we'll discuss that. I am effective tomorrow, resigning from the tree warden position. But I'll
Okay, yeah, we just want to get an understanding.
Yeah, we'll get it out there, we'll figure it out, and the tree is actually coming down tomorrow, so,
Yeah,
we'll discuss it in whatever meeting.
we'll discuss
Okay,
it.
I'll send out an email and see what time we can join up, okay?
Gentlemen, I want to talk about the full email, not just the tree issue.
Yeah, of course. Yep,
Yeah, we should definitely talk about chain of command.
yep,
Absolutely.
absolutely. We need to get that situated.
I'd like to just say my appreciation to the CRA and the Light Up the Holidays for the Santa Wave Parade and the Dalton Police Department, Dalton Fire Department, Hinsdale Police Department. It was great response. People loved it, and that's what makes this town special. So I really appreciate those people putting that on.
Yeah, it was cool. We got to see it twice. That was better.
Absolutely. It was great to see the chief in the parade too. So
Yes.
fabric of the community there. Yeah.
I'll second that. I was there with my family.
Perfect.
Thank you all.
Okay, anybody else? Okay. Under select board chair updates, John Ruffley asked me to read a letter that he sent me. It was in response to somebody's letter to the editor of the Eagle about the lines on the road on Dalton Division Road. It says, "Dear Chairman Bishop, in response to a recent complaint about traffic markings on Dalton Division Road, I'd like to let the public know that the yellow center lines are faded and use caution when traveling the road. The town has the lines painted every fall by a contractor. Due to schedule issues, the lines did not get painted this fall, and it's too late in the season to have the lines painted. The lines will be painted first thing in the spring. The town of Dalton is committed to the safety of our residents. This year, the highway department has painted over 30 crosswalks, 50 stop bars throughout the town before the start of the school year. We will continue our efforts in trying to keep our roadways safe. Thank you, John Ruffley, Highway Superintendent." Thanks for sending that, John. I'll tell you what, Dalton Division Road's not the only road. I mean, there's many in Pittsfield at this time of year, especially when the salt gets on them and everything. So, John will take care of that in the spring. And that's the only thing I have, other than the announcements. Okay, effective Monday, the Town Hall, 11/16/2020. We'll be closing the Town Hall, Senior Center, and Highway Cemetery office to the public. All offices will remain staffed and will be available by phone or email during their normal business hours. Please see the Town of Dalton websites for department information. The CRA Winter Wonderland, December 19th to January 31st. This event is outdoors, safe, fun. It's a fun walk allowing families to celebrate the beauty of the holidays. Opening night will be a socially distanced event requiring pre-registration and masks. Visitors will pick up a CRA property map listing location of trees sponsored and decorated by local businesses. Mixed throughout the trees will be sponsored stations for kids to pick up goodies and crafts to go. You can call the CRA for details at 413-684-0260. And believe it or not, we are still under a level 2 drought. Okay, the Town of Dalton's Community Choice Power Supply Program consumer notification. Dynan Energy Services is the town's new supplier for its Community Choice Power Supply Program. The town's new aggregation rate is fixed at 0.09603 per kilowatt hours for all rate classes for 36 months until January 2021 to January 2024. You will see Dynan Energy Service named as a supplier of electricity on your Eversource bill. Unless you use another supplier, all accounts currently enrolled in the program will be switched to Dynan Energy Services as of January 2021. Meter reads will be seen on the February 2021 bills. To opt in or opt out of the program, or for more detailed information about the program, go online to colonialpower.com/Dalton or call Dynan Energy at 866-220-5696. Transfer station new fiscal 21 prices. The first vehicle sticker price is $115. The second vehicle is $40. The price for bags are $4 a piece or a package of 10 for $40. 15-gallon bags are $3.30 or a package of 10 for $33. For a complete list of price, go to daltonmass.gov and click on the transfer station button. The new hours for the compost and brush area. Excuse me. Tuesday and Wednesday, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, the 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Brush hours will remain open until January 2nd, 2021 for Christmas trees disposal after that time. The brush area will close until April 2021 with further notice. Messages from the Dalton Police Department. The police department is now open to the public. The Dalton Police Department lobby is now open to the public. Feel free to stop in to see an officer. Social distancing and masks are required, and only 2 people in the lobby at a time. The processing of firearms permit. They're processed between the hours of 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. by appointment only. Please call 413-684-0300 to schedule your appointment. No walk-ins are being accepted at this time. A check or money order for $100 made payable to the town of Dalton. Renewals over the age of 70 are free. Okay, 2020 to 2021 winter parking ban. The Dalton Police Department is reminding the citizens of Dalton the winter parking ban, which goes into effect on November 15th, 2020 and will be in effect until April 15th, 2021. There'll be no parking will be allowed on these streets during these dates. The Dalton Library is now open 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. on Monday, Thursday, and Friday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Tuesday, and 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Wednesday. Anyone in a high-risk population may schedule a time in the morning to come in by themselves with no questions asked. Lobby pickup continues for anyone who would rather not enter the building. Call 684-6112 for more information. I declare that an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the negotiation of the public body.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we move to executive session and not return to open session to discuss appointment discussion with the building commissioner and zoning officer. Number 2, to conduct a strategy to determine wages paid in the event of closure due to COVID-19 regulations. And number 3, the police chief search committee candidate status update and next steps.
Okay.
Second.
Okay. Roll call vote. John?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Is there any discussion on this motion? And I just would like to say, it just at first appearance, doesn't seem to be material for an executive session. But I trust your judgment that it is. I just want to go on record as saying that.
Okay.
Which
one are you questioning?
Well, actually, either one.
There's 3 of them.
3? Oh, okay. I missed one, I guess. Crossing guard?
That's not just a crossing guard, John. There's a whole bunch of other stuff with that.
Okay. That's why I said I rely on your judgment. At first blush, it didn't seem to be an appropriate action for a...
just that one that we would not do that, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay, roll call vote. John?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Bob? Yes. Okay, we'll take a 5-minute break and log on to the